Hi, this is Sequita Richardson, and I am your Dr. Missouri, USA 2021. And I'm so excited to be here with my beautiful cousin, Ebony
Hey.
Marie Ramsey. It's
Hello.
energetic,
I'm happy to be here too.
expert, and all that wonderful stuff. And I asked Ebony to come in because, Dr. World Productions is all about women empowering women and really trying to get women to move to the next degree in whatever aspect or field they're in their life. And that might be in their education, or that might be in their, spiritual aspect of their lives. But Ebony, I know about you. You are working on getting your doctorate. And I just thought that was I'm very impressed, for one thing, and very interested about how it came about that you wanted to do this, because in that I've known you, you've always been super successful. You've had jobs at universities. And so when I heard you're getting your doctorate, I'm like, well, does she really need that? What is she doing that for? Does she just like to work, or just like to go to school? Does want to be a super duper senior, or what's going on? So I really wanted you to just start off with kind of telling me about the successes that you've already had in life since you graduated from college, and then what brought you to the point that you're at now.
Okay. So thank you for having me, and good luck with the competition, because you would be fabulous. And I'm not saying that because she's my cousin. Anywho, but so you're right. So I have been really blessed to be one, to even go to college and have the privilege to go to school and be a part of this world of higher education. So for me, going to college and being a somewhat first generation college student it was just peeling back the layers and trying to really understand, one, what I was good at the time, because I really didn't know what I was good at coming out of high school. I felt like I had personality, and I kind of thought I kind of thought I knew what I wanted to do with my life, but being in college really helped me to understand and kind of formulate some more confidence around what I was really good at. And so in the world of higher education, because I work in university, this is going into my 17th year of being an administrator on a college campus. I'm an assistant dean of students at Maryville University in St. Louis. And so what I learned about working in higher education is that it's a combination of, book, knowledge and experience and getting the degree, and a combination of life experiences and experiential learning. And so I quickly realized that, okay, if I'm going to be successful and continue to kind of grow and move in this career of higher education, I had to continue to learn, because our kind of philosophy in higher education is that you're a lifelong learner. So you never stop learning. You always are learning. You're always growing and growing. Well, part of that is experiences, right? Things that you learn from growing up, things that you learn just from making mistakes. And I've made a lot of mistakes, just all of those things. But the other part of learning and growing from a higher education perspective is, you have to earn a degree. So for the first part of this journey, I thought, oh my gosh, I definitely want to be like a dean of students. And so then I said, after I kind of learned what a dean of students did, I said, that's kind of limiting. I think I could be a vice president. I want to be like a vice president of student affairs, because I had so much experience working in that area. And a lot of people don't really know what I do. Like when I come home of my family, people be like, well, what do you do again? Like, if you haven't gone to college, you don't really know about like the other side of college outside of the classroom. Everybody thinks,
I know, but I still just think you run the school. So I'm like, hey.
Right. So it is kind of hard to explain, but like a dean of students deals with student conduct issues, make sure that we deal with a lot of Title IX things, kind of make sure that the well-being of a student is safe, sound, and we deal with issues, a lot of issues and accountability. But then a vice president of student affairs oversees all aspects of campus life. So you're talking about housing and residence life, you're talking about dining and food services, student leadership and development, clubs and organizations, fraternity, sorority life, health and wellness, counseling center, anything that you can think of that takes care of a student while they are outside of class, it falls under the umbrella of student affairs or student life. And I wanted to, I aspired to be a vice president. So as I was kind of doing research and figuring that out, I found out that all the women, especially Black women that I knew that were in that position, they had a PhD, they had a terminal degree. And so, so as I kept like learning more, and I had several mentors, everybody was like, oh my gosh, you would be amazing. You need to get this degree. But I didn't get that encouragement until I would say later, a little bit later in my career than others did. Normally I would say folks are maybe 3 to 5 years outside of their master's degree, and then they start on their PhD. Well, I was 10 years outside of my master's degree. And a lot of it had to do with just, I don't really like this term, but imposter syndrome. Like I was very nervous about, like, I don't know anybody that's a doctor. My cousin is a doctor. That's all I knew. Like I knew that you were a doctor, but a doctor in a different way. But, having a doctorate is not something that's common in our family. And I was very, scared. I was fearful of if I could do the work, if I belonged in the classroom, if I knew what I was talking about. And so once I kind of started opening, the doors and like doing more research, I had a mentor that was like, I really think that you can do this. And so I was like, okay, and I don't normally shy away from challenges, but I think at the time it was a combination of, I started to kind of see myself hit a glass ceiling or a ceiling with my career. And it was like, every job that I was looking to apply for required that you have a PhD. I had the experience, I had all the other things I would check off the box, but I just didn't have the PhD. So that was one of the like last feeling. Like I had also like transitioned out of a job at that time too. So I had some time to like think about what my next steps were going to be. And I was like, okay, I had kind of been going. Like I went to college, and after college, I went to grad school, and after grad school, I started working, and I just didn't have a moment to stop and reflect. So when I had this job transition, I really stopped and reflected like, okay, so where do I really see like myself going in a couple of years? And I was like, I think I need to start this program. And so it kind of all came together like that, with me deciding to start the PhD program.
What a story. Oh my gosh. So, it's interesting. I didn't realize it had been that long since you had attended school. And sometimes I think about when I first graduated, I was like, well, I'm going to go and get my MPH. And now I'm like, I can't even think about trying to open a book at all. So kudos to you. And like, so with what you're going through now, and interestingly, that my husband is also in
Mm-hmm.
as well. He already has his doctorate of pharmacy, and he's trying to get his PhD in, do you know?
Yeah, so he's doing a higher education leadership program like me.
Yes, I hope he's not
Yeah.
going to watch this. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I just think, it's really interesting, to be like, at a point in your life where, a lot of people are like, well, I'm going to retire in 10 years or whatever. No, you're not. But to just say, I'm going to really put in my life and invest all this time and effort into this type of program. So do you ever look back and say, oh, maybe I should have? Now I know that, probably the night before a test or whatever you probably do, but in general, is this something that you really would recommend for people? What is it that you had to be ready and in tune to know that you need to do to
Okay. Yeah,
take this
that's a
step?
great, I think that's a great question. So I'm going to answer it in two ways. Yes, I every day I question, like, why did I do this again? Like, it is every day because it is a marathon, not a sprint. And I tell people that all the time. I was just sharing with you before we started this interview that there are other programs that are PhD programs or that are EDD programs that many of my friends have started, and they have started the program after I've started, and they finished before I'm done. And so I'm 5.5 years into this program that I'm in, and I've learned lots of lessons because of that. I would say any advice that anybody comes to me, especially Black women, when Black women ask me about my experience, I give it to them very real, because I want them to know all the good, the bad, and the ugly of everything. I don't think I asked questions, but there was still some insight that I learned along the way. But I don't think PhD is for everybody. And I will be honest in that aspect, like a doctorate or a terminal degree. I think you need to do the research on what are people in your field, like how are they progressing? What have they done to be successful? What degrees have they maintained? And I will definitely say, being that I'm in higher education, one of the trends that we're watching right now in the world is that a lot of folks are not coming to college. They are choosing to not come to college, and they're choosing routes of like certification, which has been a lot that is picked up in, I would say, the last 5 years, that a lot of companies are training the trainer, if you will. So they'll, like, you can get a job at Google or Amazon and you can get certified in a certain skill set and be making the same amount of money that you could be making going to get an earned degree. Now, I'm not, knocking college. I'm always be an advocate of lifelong learning and learning, but at some, it is expensive. And so you really have to think about, do you understand financial aid? Do you understand what it means to pay? Like, I'm paying out of pocket to go to pay for my PhD right now. I have lots of student loan debt that I've been working to, get down. But had I known better, before, like I said, I mentioned I'm first generation college student. So had I been more educated about finances, I don't think I would be in such debt right now that I'm in. So I definitely think that if you're thinking about, what type of education or what type of training you might need to be successful in a career, I would definitely be critical and make sure that you're looking into things that make sense, right? Just because it sounds good to get a PhD or to get an EDD or a terminal degree doesn't always mean that it's right fit for everybody. But there are, lots of sleepless nights. Like, after we get done with this interview, I'm going right back to work on my paper. Lots of time away from family and friends, you can't get back time. And so you have to be strategic about it. And I think that was one of the other reasons why I decided now was the best time. Like, I don't have any children of my own. I do have family that I participate with, and little ones. And so I've felt like, okay, let me go ahead and do this now while I don't have as much commitment, because I do want to have family and I want to have other things. So for me, the PhD was the right route for me in order to sustain myself, because now when I get my degree, I can be a vice president, but I can also be a college president if I wanted to. So I've kind of set myself up for other things. And there's all these avenues that degree and education opens up once you start to pour into yourself. So yeah.
And speaking of pouring into yourself, so you've been doing this for the last 5 years, and you were sweet enough to do an interview with me after our bedtime. I want to know how you take care of yourself, working and being an aunt and being a daughter and writing your dissertation. How are you taking care of yourself?
Well, this is an area that I can definitely say that I have been working on. But for the past, I would say 2 years, maybe even 2.5 years, I've really tried to concentrate on my health, and eating right. And so like I would say during college and even during like my short stint of working, I was just eating bad, eating whatever I wanted to, not really not working out as much as I needed to. And so I've changed that. You know, since right before COVID started, I had got on a good a workout regimen. I have a personal trainer. I do my Peloton. I drink my gallon of water. So here we go. I'm almost done with it today. See,
Very good.
I try to drink at least a gallon of water a day. But I started with the food because a lot of this feels like you don't have control. And for me, I like to be in control. That's what I learned about myself. So I can control what I eat. I can control getting up in the morning and you know, doing some movement with my body. I definitely started refocusing my spiritual life. I do my devotional. I try to do my devotional in the morning and in the evening before I go to bed, to just be thankful for the opportunities that I have. And then I've also started seeing a therapist, which was been so helpful. And I know that's kind of a taboo topic, but I'm very transparent with it because I just had things that I couldn't talk to anybody else about, or I needed another perspective. Or once you are so many things to people, then you know you're emptying your cup. And so I've learned that I am definitely a giver, and so who then pours into my cup. And so that's some of the things that I've started learning about myself, is how can I find balance. I give myself grace because that's hard. Like when I'm you know, I work a lot. My job is not a traditional 9 to 5 job. I might get to work at 8 o'clock and might not leave until 8 o'clock at night because just things that happen on a college campus. I'm always on call. I have 2 cell phones, like, because this is my personal and this is my work. So if anything happens and this phone goes off, then I have to respond sometimes when I'm on call. But my like gifts to myself is I try to plan time to travel. I love to travel. I love to get my nails done. So like I go get my nails done religiously, like every 4 weeks. And then I like to get massages. So it's like I work hard, but I try to like play as hard as I work too. So those are some of the things I do for my self-care.
So, and that's interesting because actually when you say work hard, play hard, that's kind of like the Richardson way. But I also think about it for you. I'm like, Ebony, she gonna have some fun, but she's gonna work hard too. So, and I
Yeah.
really super appreciate you being transparent about therapy. I'm always preaching, especially to our African Americans, that it's part of health.
Yeah.
Still health. So, and I hope that you're able to tune in because I have an episode with a nurse practitioner, Jennifer Reed, who is a specialist in psychiatry, and she talks a lot about balance. So I'll make sure to
Oh,
tag
good.
when I post that one. And
Yeah.
I'll also be looking for you after you graduate. We're gonna get you into Dr. World Productions.
Okay. Okay.
Let's see if we can get us another Dr. Missouri representing
Yes,
Missouri in
I'll
the
be happy.
house. So
I'll
you
be
would be
happy.
awesome. You would be
Yeah, I'd be happy to do it. Yeah, it sounds like a lot of fun. So I'll be happy to do it.
Yeah,
So
wonderful. Well, thank you so much. I'm so excited for you. I'll be posting and sharing with everybody when you finish this dissertation across the.
y'all keep me in your prayers now.
Yeah,
Keep me prayed up,
absolutely.
child. This is a lot.
Okay. Thank you to the educated Ebony Marie Ramsey. Bye, sweetie. Get some rest.
Thank you. Okay.